Time is a very important concept in Splunk. So let's have a look how we can specify the time range from which we want to get results. So Splunk is heavily built around the concept of time, and therefore it makes one of our best candidates for how to get search results fast. So it's always recommended to limit the time range accordingly. If we know, for example, that something happened yesterday at 3 p.m., then why would we search the whole last week? Or if we know that something happened 10 minutes ago, why would we search for the last 6 hours or something like? And there are two different ways how we can set the time range. One is using the time range picker in Splunk Web in the graphical user interface itself, and the other one is to use time modifiers in SBL. So directly in your query you can use the earliest and the latest keywords and specify exactly at what date and time the time range should start and end. When we do exactly that, when we make use of the earliest and the latest time modifier, we have two options. First, using a relative time notation, and second, using an absolute time notation. So first, let's have a look at the relative time modifiers. And this looks something like earliest equals minus 7d at d. So let's break apart what this means. The minus stands for that we want to go back in time, right? We want to go into the past. So it's really rare that you're searching for events in the future, but maybe that you have events that have been passed incorrectly, or maybe because of time zone configuration or something like. But normally you're searching for something in the past. So that's the minus. Then we have the 7d here. D stands for days. So we go back 7 days. So if it's now 3 p.m. on a Tuesday, then minus 7d would land me again on a Tuesday 3 p.m. exactly 1 week ago. But maybe I don't want to land on 3 p.m. Maybe I want to include everything from the start of the day. So I want to start exactly at 12 a.m. Then I would be able to add this @ sign here and then a snap to time unit. So I could do something like minus 7d at d. This would snap to the next start of the day. And I could also do something like minus 7d at h. So if it's now 3:15, then I would land at exactly at 3 p.m. 7 days ago. And you can also stack these together. So if you have a look at the last example here in the last line, at d minus 2h would be something like snapping to the start of the day and then subtracting again 2 hours from it. So this would be something like 10 p.m. in the evening. And then we have our absolute time modifiers, and these are pretty straightforward. As you see, we just give them the date where we want to search for. So in this case, February 19, 2023, and we end with the latest keyword here and specify when our time window should end. So in Splunk, let's see how that looks. First, we're gonna make use of the time range picker. So if I'm using something like index equals bots v2, then I can select the time here using the time range picker. And in this case, I'm going for, let's say, date range between, and I want to have, January 1st, 2017. I can copy that and I can select January 1st, 2018 here. Select apply, search. And as you can see, we see the time range that we selected, and we get events back from our search. Awesome. So let's stop this for now. And now we're gonna make use of the earliest and the latest keywords. So first we're gonna use the relative time modifiers. So if we use the ones I specified here, we come out at exactly with exactly the same time window. So I go back 6 years. And we are having 2023 at the time I'm recording this. So if I go back six years, then I will be at exactly the day that is today, 6 years in the past, which is 2017. But then I snap to the beginning of the year, which is January 1st, of course, and therefore this is exactly the same as we did using the time range picker. Same goes for the latest. If I execute this query, then we again should find our events that are located in the bots v2 index. And this looks good so far. Yeah, we can see our events are coming back. And now you might say, wait, but you still select the time range here using the time range picker. That's true. But what we define in our SPL query using earliest and latest always overrides what we set here in Splunk Web using the time range picker. So if you set both, then SPL trumps the UI here. And then we have the absolute time modifiers. Again, I want to search in exactly the same time window, and that's why I'm also able to go for this notation, which is exactly the same as our two last searches. And we see we get our results back here, so this seems to work pretty fine. So in this lesson we had a look at how we can select the time range we want to search for. We had a look at using the time range picker in Splunk Web, and we had a look at both methods in using SPL. So we used the earliest and latest keywords, and once we specified our time range of interest using relative time modifiers, and once we used absolute time modifiers.